So I would like to talk about non-duality and how I experience it. You see, it's all about seeing through this separate self. And when I was listening to people talking about this separate self and how to dissolve it, how to see that it's not even real, my separate self was very confused about it. But I tried to explain it in a way that it hopefully it even makes sense to the mind. So you see, a separate self, in the way I understand non-duality, is basically just an idea of what you are. So, for example, if you are a person who believes that you have to be tough in life, and then as soon as you have soft feelings, you see yourself as separate from those soft feelings. You are some tough guy or girl that is in relation with soft feelings, and automatically there's this will to understand how to get rid of those soft feelings, because those soft feelings are interpreted as trauma. They are interpreted as something negative, something that you need to get rid of. And when you are an empath and you are identified with a package of feelings and behaviors, and then you encounter someone that you might call a narcissist, and then everything's closing up in you, because you're something that is separate from, you see yourself as someone that is separate from those feelings that a narcissist is triggering in you. But the feelings you feel, wherever you are never really feelings that someone else is giving you. It's always your feeling. So there's no longer this identification with a certain feeling. Let's go back to the example of thinking that you are tough. Like, let's say I think that I'm tough. I have to be hard and tough. So when there's a soft feeling, automatically I think that's not me. That does not belong into my world. I'm the tough guy, and when I'm feeling negative, if I'm feeling soft feelings, then I have to get rid of it. But the dissolution of the separate self is simply when you see that I can see those tough feelings, so therefore they are not me. I'm the pure consciousness, and the pure consciousness is not judging feelings. It is embracing tough feelings and pervading them. But when there's no longer identification with anything, then we can say that you are pure consciousness, and automatically whatever arises whenever someone's triggering you, that pure consciousness is just fully accepting and feeling those painful feelings, and it's embracing them and pervading them. So there's no longer a tough guy relating to soft feelings. There's just hard feelings, soft feelings. Everything is just accepted in that field of awareness. So there's no will to get rid of something. If something is triggering this body-mind mechanism, then that trigger is felt 100%. In its pureness, it's embraced and pervaded by the consciousness. There's no longer an entity that is in relation to that trigger. I am triggered. It's just trigger. It's raw, unfiltered. It's just here. And therefore, there is a feeling of being embraced all the time. It's like constantly a feeling of okayness. Even though there might be negative feelings, it's a feeling of it's okay here. So consciousness is not identified with a certain personality. It is just one with whatever is happening, and it's accepting it. So therefore, there's no longer an idea of being someone, or that this mind has to be like someone, has to act like someone. It's just what is. So for example, when someone's hurting your feelings, the healthiest way to approach it is by simply being hurt. But the ego is stubborn. It says, I'm not hurt. I'm too strong to be hurt. Or there are also egos that like to be hurt, and they turn everything into a mountain. But the healthiest approach is to simply experience what is without a filter there. So when you're in a crowd, and maybe you're an introvert, and there's just this feeling of you're uncomfortable, then 90% of that feeling come from the idea that you have to act like someone that's an extrovert. But once this feeling is just seen as it is and embraced by consciousness, which is not something you can do, it's naturally what consciousness is doing, then there's just this acceptance. Then you can be as you are. You don't have to behave like an extrovert. You can be in a crowd as an introvert. You can be weird. And that's the kind of freedom that I'm talking about. So we can say this separate entity is just a self-image. And it was created because it thinks that it's protecting something. Protect my image, protect my self-image. But then that's inauthentic, and I'm lying to myself, and I'm lying to you, and I'm denying reality as it is. And when this self-image is strong, it's hard to connect to someone's heart. It's almost impossible. And I know a lot of people who are looking for liberation and, non-dual enlightenment. They are looking for that kind of enlightenment because they have a heavy heart. They think as soon as they have it, this heavy heart will be light again. But it all starts with accepting that this heavy heart is here and realizing that the one that's trying to get rid of this heavy heart is just a protection mechanism. And you are not that. So when you're able to accept that heavy heart and you're no longer trying to heal it, you just accept that it's here, then that's a sign that ego is gone, because the ego cannot accept what is. It simply cannot accept that there is fear or a heavy heart or sadness. It always wants to correct. It always wants to become better. It always wants to be better. It cannot accept. So when you can accept this impulse that brought you on this search for liberation, this impulse that brought you to this search for liberation is mostly a negative impulse. There's something you don't want to accept. There's something you don't want to feel. So when you can finally look at it, accept it, no longer trying to change it, then what can happen is that this separate self that wants to change things just falls away. And then you can look at reality for what it is, as consciousness, no longer as separate self. So, and that's a form, or I would even say the highest form of love. You're no longer on a path. You're no longer trying to become worthy. You are fully accepted by consciousness. And out of this acceptance, there's a feeling of being fulfilled. There's no longer something that's missing. And out of this energy, you are creating. You're no longer chasing in the hopes that you will be completed. No, you are complete, and therefore you create out of this energy that is already complete. And that's my understanding of non-duality. It's just what is. No one that's relating with it. It's just pure, natural being.